Okay, folks, get to your rings. Time to crunch some steel and bash some heads. Everyone ready? 3, 2, 1.
Sharp bend coming. Hold on!
Hey guys, this is Chink and HSW or Travis. I want to talk about Cyberpunk 2077, which was released by CD Projekt Red and released into a train crash. This game was 8 years into the development. The hype on this game was probably one of the most hyped games ever in gaming history, from a company that until now has been dependable and consumer friendly. Now, I'm going to start out with the good stuff on this game. The characters in this game, Johnny, Rogue, Jackie, Pam, I call her Pam because I can never pronounce her real name, Judah, they're all the characters in this game is really good voice acted, really good animated, really good conversations. The choices you can make while playing this game mean something to the story, can change the storyline, can have you build a good relationship with them or a bad relationship with them. Speaking of the storyline in this game, the storyline in this game is awesome. Keanu Reeves does a good job as Johnny. The lore of the world that you're playing in, which is Night City and the desert, the lore of the characters that you end up being involved with, it's all written to perfection. This game, story-wise and character-wise, is bar none some of the best I've ever seen in a game. This side of Mass Effect, the original Mass Effects, including Andromeda. I love the Andromeda. There's Easter eggs in this, like Eat My Shorts from Simpsons, El Capitan from Star Trek, Portal Easter egg during a side quest. The graphics, they're good except for when stuff like this happens, which I will show you later. The combat is so good. I love the combat in this game. It's a mix between stealth and Doom. There's just one problem with the combat, though, and that is the AI. The AI on this game is not very good. It's actually kind of bad. The police will spawn up randomly, shooting you from places, even though they had nowhere to come from. You could be in a room by yourself, they'll spawn up. They pull out, like, look at Pam here.
I see a sniper.
The AI here is horrible with her, with your companions. They hardly do anything. They stand in the middle of fire. They don't take cover. They point out enemies that obvious are there. The AI on this is really bad. It's not even as good as The Witcher 3. But the graphics. I played on the Xbox One X, and the graphics can look so beautiful at times, and then horrible at other times. The Xbox One X, it didn't run bad. Not like the original Xbox and the original PS4. It ran pretty decent. There was a lot of frame rate issues, a lot of glitches, but the game looked beautiful. And then there's stuff like this. 32 hours into the game, it finally rained on the other side of the prologue. And when it did rain, it rained inside the building that I was in. What the heck, CD Projekt Red? Where's this coming from? That completely took the immersion out of the game that I was playing at the time. And then you have stuff like this that also takes you out of the immersion to where you're driving down the road, you see all this traffic ahead of you, and they just disappear. No trace of them. There were times that I went 3 to 4 minutes without seeing another car on the road. This is Xbox One X. I know it's not the most powerful console in the world anymore, but it was strong enough to run Crysis at 60 frames in 4K with ray tracing on. Surely. And then there's this that pulls out again the immersion out of this game. Notice anything? No soundtrack. During the game, the soundtrack just turned off randomly. I have the volume up. I have the music volume up. But the music is just gone. And it never did come back. I had to beat the rest of the game, played like 30 hours more without the soundtrack, which sucks because the soundtrack was so good. It was so good on this game. It is good on this game. When it works. Right? Does that sound right? And it's a shame because the world, being as beautiful as it can be, is huge. The world is big. I don't know if it's as big as The Witcher 3, but it is really big, and it's full of stuff to do. And everything there is to do, 90% of it is entertaining. It's fun to do it. When the game runs right, when it plays right, it is so much fun. The combat is so good on it. It makes the world alive. You go in, you do a quest. Some of the side quests are are better than the main quest. I mean, it's just really good and really well thought out. There's so many varieties of quests in this game. And being able to build your character, create a character is really in-depth and detailed. Really in-depth and detailed. And then you have these major skills. You can be an assassin, stealth, assault, muscle man, whatever, hacker. And when you click on the major skills, there's more skills to pump out. You know, and there's different tabs. Sometimes there's 2 or 3 tabs that have all these different type of skills that you can choose from to make the character the way you want your character to be like. You know, and faster loading times, faster hacking, more ammo in a gun. You know, it's just, and then you get these augmentants which shoots your character up even more, making it more variety of how you want your character to be. Do you want to jump higher, or do you want to have a double jump instead? Do you want blades on your arms, or would you rather have a grenade launcher? Do you want to carry weight, or do you want to be faster? I mean, the variety of what you can do in this game, character-wise, is amazing. It's also incredible. There's so much good, and then some of the mods have other upgrades that you can get for these games, for the mods and the augmentants that you choose. It's just, it's insane how in-depth it is. And then you have the weapons. You have shotguns, rifles, machine guns, SMGs, samurai swords, and you can break them down and also upgrade them. You can break your armor down and upgrade them. And some of the armors and some of the guns, you can put mods onto them to make them shoot faster, to add extra armor, or extra wait time, or not shock as much. The armor system's kind of combative though, because if you want your character to look good, you don't have a choice of how your character look depending on what the armor you're wearing is and what type of stuff it does. You know, you could be wearing a shirt that you really love and then find armor that is better than the shirt you wear, and then you have to switch regardless of whether you like the armor or not. I want to talk about a quest in here and several things that might be a little touchy on people. This is a spoiler alert. I was playing a side quest where you save this, join this guy who just escaped from prison. And while he was in prison, he learned about Jesus Christ. And I'm a man of God. I love my Lord and Savior. But then the quest ends up to where he wants to be crucified like Christ. Now, if it wasn't for the choices that you're able to make of whether you want to be involved or not, it's still overdoing it. CD Projekt Red. They even asked me if I wanted to hammer the nails in his hands, wrist, and feet. And I was like, on the cross, I was like, no, I can't do that. I'm not doing that. It was on the verge of, it is stepping over the line a little bit. For me. And I know people's going to be like, well, it's not a big deal. But then there's Black Lives Matter stuff in this. You go up, I went up to a guy who was black.
What now?
And I was talking to him about augmentants. He goes, well, we usually don't serve your kind of race here. Which my character was white. And
What's up?
And he goes, but we could do it this time. I play games to get away from that type of stuff. You know? And then there's sometimes that I talk to people and it's on the verge of fat shaming. I mean, there's some things, I know Cyberpunk pushes the bar, but there are some things that just, it should not be in a game because we're reacting it to the real world now. And we want to play these games to escape the real world, right? And there's no mini games in this. Where are the mini games? This is a huge city with a lot to do, and there's no mini games. There's racing, but when you race with a car or a bike, the handling is really bad in it. And things like what you saw in the very first clip can happen. Now, I want to talk to you about something here. This game crashed me. This game crashed on me 9 times. It crashed on me 4 times before the first update, 3 times after the second update, and 2 more times after the final update. One of those times in the final credits. So I never officially beat the game. It froze up at really bad times when I was inside the story. You know, really immersed in the world. Johnny is talking, I'm on the verge of tears, and boom, it freezes up. And it crashed on me. There's so many load screens during a big cutscene. What is this? Year 2000? I thought this was 2019.
Do something to make me feel alive again.
Why all the load screens?
Shot us up good back there.
You know? And I had a mission to where I took out this really heavy mechanical guy. And I needed the information in order to finish the mission that he had on him and somebody else had on him. Well, the other guy I was supposed to get the information just disappeared. I could not finish the quest. Could not finish the mission. You know, I had to reload and lost about 30 minutes of progress. You know, Resident Evil 4.
How things looking, Miss V?
Cyberpunk was supposed to be my favorite game of all time. And when it works right, it is.
So
When everything clicks and runs together like it's supposed to, it is so good. I can't even pronounce how good it is.
I'd rather discuss it face to face.
Resident Evil 4 is my favorite game of all time. I love it. I've beaten it more than 10 times. I have owned it on every console since it came out that I've owned. I love that game. Right now, I can't say that about Cyberpunk. I can't do it. It is such a mess, and it's still a mess. I suggest that if you're watching this, don't buy it until March or April, after they come out with a few more updates, and maybe not even until later than that.
Must be here somewhere.
A lot of stuff needs to be fixed on this game.
No.
It's a darn shame. It really is. The world is beautiful, but then there's pop-in. Then there's shadows that are missing up. The characters are incredible, but then their AI are dumb.
Resistance is futile.
They're stupid. You know, the cars are beautiful, but they handle like crap most of the time. The gameplay is awesome, but the AI makes it not worthwhile at times because you can't use your character to
Must be
your full
here
potential.
somewhere.
There's for every good there's a block, and then beyond that you have the crashes, you have the freezing up, you have the people walking to take you out of the immersiveness of this world. You have raining in buildings. You have people falling from random places out of nowhere. A lot of them are funny. A lot of them made the game even funner too, in a way. But this game is a mess. It's a mess right now. I suggest you wait until March or April to get this game. And in all good conscience, as much as I love this game, regardless of everything that I just talked about, I love this game so much. This game is so awesome. In good conscience, I cannot give this game a good score. This is what it's like. Driving, having a good time, and then you just decided to hit a random cop, and here you go.
Engaging hostile!
They start shooting at you, and you're like, oh no, I'm getting you too. You run him, he gets into the wall, and then you try to back up. Fall into the wall here, and then you try to back up, and this is how the game is. Having fun, then all of a sudden, turns into a disaster. I'm giving Cyberpunk 2077 a 4 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching. God bless, and have a good one.